Fanatics View, we are here with Mo Usman. Mo, I wanted to start with you growing up in Nigeria. What was that experience like with your mom? I've read some articles in terms of some of the tribulations you guys faced. Can you take us through those early years of you growing up in Nigeria?
Man, it's when you sit back and you really think about it, it's almost feels like it was a movie. Yeah, because we would walk with my mom, and she would sell baby clothes, and that's how we would eat that day. And she's a warrior. You know, everything she done was for us to eat. You know, the problems we have here are everybody in Africa would take these problems in a heartbeat. You know, because those are real life problems. You know, what are you gonna drink today, eat today? You know, problems like that. Here is just, oh, my rent's not getting paid. You know, my insurance. You know, so my mom is just amazing, man. She did a lot for us. You know, she made sure we ate every day. She clothed us every day. You know, even when she bought us all women's shoes, and we had the light up shoes that when we would walk, they'll all jingle and light up. Like, my mom is she did a lot for us when we were in Africa.
And obviously, you were really young at the time, but do you have vivid memories?
Yeah, yeah. My mom says they used to call me Udoma, and she says that means I was this big, real heavy set kid when I was a baby, like overly big. She said they took me to the doctor because they wanted to try to see what was wrong with me because I was so big. And we lived in a village, so everybody's there's a tight knit family. So she said I would go in through everybody's like back door and just come in their house, and they'll give me food, and everybody already expects me to just come in their house. So that was like my thing. I would just go in everybody's house, and just they'll give me a little food here and there. And she said we just everybody was a family in the village.
And what was it like coming to the United States? Were you young enough that it wasn't such a shock, or?
It was a shock at the very beginning. I remember the first time, like we were flying in, it was a huge storm. It was a real bad thunderstorm. The plane couldn't even land. It was snowing. The plane couldn't even land. So we was in the air for about an hour before the plane ended up coming down. And I still remember me and my brothers were sleeping on the floor in the plane. Then when we got here, they took us to, I think, Burger King, and they bought us the burger for the first time ever. And we took one bite out of it, and when my mom was driving, we threw it out of the window. When my dad was driving, so we really didn't like burgers a lot.
All right, so eventually you get into sports here
Yeah.
in America. You go to high school in Arlington.
Yes.
Tell me about kind of your athletic career at that time, because I'm assuming you're doing football and wrestling at the same time.
At first, I was doing football, and then my brother kind of got me into wrestling too, and then my coaches, all approved it, and I loved it. It's like I was always an aggressive kid, in the aspect of sports. So it just really it was a dream come true, And then the shape that I would get in while wrestling was was 10 times better than the shape you're being in football. So I would come from wrestling to football practice and kill because I'm in so much better shape than all these other guys, that is only doing one thing. Whereas I just came from wrestling guys all day, and then I'll just transfer right over to the football field.
And Mo, you were a two-star recruit by Rivals.com and also a two-star recruit by Scout.com. And you were also recruited by Washington State, Fresno State, Rice, TCU, and UTEP. Why did you choose the University of Houston?
Man, and a lot more schools on that list too. Those were just like the top schools, I guess. I chose Houston because I was gonna go to Washington State. Me and one of my best friends at the time, Marcus McGraw, we played football together at Arlington Bowie. We were gonna go to Washington State. The Leon Burnett was the linebackers coach there, and he really loved us, man. Old guy, real old school guy. He was in the '60s, He gave real is. I really took a liking to him, and just his style and his coaching style. He's so rugged and old, He just didn't give a shit. When you're old, you just don't really give a shit about a lot of shit anymore, And he speaks his mind. He'll let you know what he feels, and all these other schools were really good. But once I got to meet him and talk to him and see exactly where he was going, I really loved him. And at the time, Mike Price was the head coach there at Washington State, and they all got released and fired and cleaned house. And we was like, man, we would have to look at these other schools. And I remember I was in class one day. Coach called me. Was like, "Hey man, you have somebody wants to talk to you in my office. So come on." So it was the usual. So we got used to expecting going in there and talking to different schools. And it was Coach Burnett, and he had a University of Houston. He had a University of Houston shirt on. I said, "Don't even say anything else. I'm coming." And he was like, "Oh man, I just had to just come let you know." I was just like, "Oh man, it was a dream come true." And then Houston it wasn't too close, but it wasn't too far, because I still wanted to kind of get away from mom and dad. You don't want them to show up at your door, just knocking on your door like, "Hey, I'm here," So that's when that came along, and it was a dream come true, man. And I enjoyed Houston, and they were at a high level. And Coach Kevin Sumlin was the head coach for us. So I still remember him coming in the living room and talking with my mom and my dad. And those are the times, that's what you want as a kid, I could just see the look on my dad and my mom's face. And it just made me feel proud, to know that I was doing this for them and just the energy that it gave them.
I do want to backtrack a little bit. You being a 2-star recruit, was that offensive to you?
It was very offensive, but I understood, though, because back then, nowadays, we kind of paved the way for a lot of these new kids, because back then they needed a 6'5", 6'6" guy, They needed that. They needed that explosive. I was way more explosive than they expect, but they needed that. They wanted a prototype. They didn't want talent. They wanted a prototype. So they're looking for the 6'6" DN, 6'5", defensive end, 6'2", 6'3" linebacker, So, but I let my work show. They'll come in for the guy. They'll come in for the quarterback or the DB, and then they'll be watching the film, and a lot of scouts say, "Oh my gosh, who's this kid running across the screen?" And that's when I started getting my offers, and they started seeing that I could play, at the highest level. So, and I kind of took the offense to that, and I always put a chip on my shoulder, and that's why I am how I am. I'm just as big as a guy at 6'6", 6'7", So it kind of grew on me, and it made me who I am.
And in your freshman season with Houston, you played, I believe, 9 games. Is that correct?
Yeah. See, my story, man, is very. My story is a lesson to kids too, man. I had everything, I went to University of Houston. I played as a true freshman in the University of Houston, so I didn't redshirt. I came right on, and I displayed the abilities to play, and I played as a true freshman. And it was exciting. I even had what game? I missed one game because I had a meniscus repair in my left meniscus. Because at practice I had somebody, do had an incident at practice, and I missed one game. And came back when we played in the Armed Forces Bowl against Air Force and beat them. And it was a great time in my life.
Yes. So as far as, because you go from the University of Houston to Navarro College, and then Navarro College to Arizona.
Yeah.
So just take me through that process. What exactly occurred, and how did you, end up in all those?
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure a lot of guys probably go through this, especially back then. But my ACT scores, they red flagged my ACT scores. They said my first score and my second score, the increase was too dramatic. So they red flagged me after my whole first year of college, which was we appealed it, we did everything we can, but nothing against NCAA, but they've gotten a lot of kids, man. And they, and I want to say it put my life on a different journey, on a different path, but everything happens for a reason. But them red flagging my score made me ineligible. So as being ineligible, I had to go to a junior college now because I couldn't be at a Division I school, because the NCAA clearinghouse and all of that. So my coaches made the call, got me called to Navarro. I went out there, took a look at it, fell in love with it. They, very high level. Everybody at the junior college level at that time, man, was coming from UT, Auburn, Alabama, high level guys, man. And I made friends for life, and these guys were amazing.
And I'm sure that was, obviously wasn't the plan.
Man.
So how did you mentally? How did you overcome that? Did it break you down?
It at first, everybody goes through their emotions, man, and but you got to pick yourself up, man. That's one thing I've done my whole career and still doing to this point. And you got to pick yourself up, man, no matter what. And And I remember it, man. I remember it still to this day, and I still told my mom, I was gonna make it to NFL. I was gonna make it. I was gonna make it. Don't worry about these problems. Don't worry about anything. And I apologized. I told her I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's things happen. It's just like, man. I was gonna be a 3-year starter at the University of Houston. I was going into my sophomore year, already starting, because the guy that was ahead of me, Philip Hunt, he went on to the NFL, and. It was just a dream, And my defensive ends coach was Jim Jeffcoat, played for the Cowboys, Hall of Famer. Me and him used to have all these talks all the time, and how I wanted to play in the NFL. How Dallas was going to be a dream for me, and I seen everything happening as a Cinderella story. How you plan it in your head, but then when life starts throwing those little riggers at you, and shot me to junior college, I still tried to make the best of it. Navarro is a high-level junior college. And people still talk to me this day. Cam Newton's only loss was to who? Us. Navarro Junior College. He couldn't handle it, And anybody can say it, man. He couldn't handle it. He'll pull it up right now. He went to Auburn, went undefeated. You came to Navarro, you lost to us. They beat us in the championship game, but it wasn't because of us. It was other reasons. But when they played us, they lost, and because he couldn't handle it, the pressure was too much.
Did you get any good shots on Cam?
Oh man, I had 3 sacks that game. I was defensive player of the game. I had 12 tackles. I had 4 tackles for loss, because Cam is such a good man. He's so good and so big back there that our strategy was to get up the field, man. Because as soon as you get up the field on Cam and he feels you go right by him, he turns up because he feels like right now. As soon as the DNs get up the field on a speed rush, he feels, okay, boom, he could just take it. He could just hit that gap right now and come. So in our minds, all week with our coach Cook, we've been working all week, get up the field and then redirect and come right underneath. And as soon as Cam will fill you up the field, he'll just go right now. So we'll just come up the field and hit that back and hit that front leg and come right underneath. He'll be right there for us in the breadbasket, like Coach would say.
So you get the attention of the University of Arizona.
Yeah.
You go to the University of Arizona.
Coach Stoops.
Take me through your time at Arizona.
Man, they called me, and I'm so bummed out already, man, because we already had our season. I'm training every day. You're getting a lot of you got a couple D1s, but you're having a lot of these D2 schools call you. And it's like, man, I'm D1, I'm a D1 guy, man. I don't want D2 schools. And there's nothing against D2 schools, man, but in my mind, I know where I'm supposed to be. So I'm just training, and I get the number, and I get a call, and it looks like a D2 school. So I'm like, I'm not gonna answer the call, and then I answer, and it was Coach Hammer, and he was like, hey, it's Coach Hammer from University of Arizona. We want to offer you a scholarship. So I call him right away. I said, hey, Coach. I said, I'm sorry I missed the call, man. I was training. And he was like, oh, no problems, man. We want you to come out here and check it out. Cam Newton actually came out there the week before me on his visit. So, I missed him there, but because I was going to rub it in his face. But yeah, he ended up going to Auburn. He thought that was the best fit for him. But he would have loved the desert too, but I loved it, man. I went out there, first time you seeing mountains all around, and just the heat, just the color of the people, just everything, man. I just told Coach, man, I went in Coach Stoops' office. He had these boots on. And, he's sitting in his office. Coach Stoops is a crazy guy, man. I love him. And he was just like, Mo, what do you think, man? I was like, what do I think? I want to come here right now. And he was like, all right, man, we'll put everything together and we'll see you soon. So, man, it was I didn't even want to look at no other D1 school, man. Once I went through Arizona and I seen it, I didn't want to look nowhere else.
And so, did you, looking back at Houston and Arizona, do you feel that the Houston situation almost derailed your NFL career, or how do you feel about?
No, man. When you say that, man, it hurts, because I tell these kids, man, nowadays, man, like, just do everything the right way, man, because it did. I knew I was supposed to be in the NFL, man. It derailed me, because if that was the case, I could have just went to a junior college and did 1 or 2 years and then just went anywhere else I wanted to go in the country. Instead of putting myself in a position like how I did for that situation to transpire, which derailed me, sent me on a collision course, sent me on this path and collision course for trouble, and everywhere I went, man, I always stayed positive. I always knew I was going to make it to the NFL. I always knew I was NFL caliber, because I played with all these guys. All my teammates, everybody I played with, man. If you're playing with guys in the NFL and you're doing the exact same thing they're doing, and something even more, you know you're gonna make it. So that's where I built my confidence from. It's not me being cocky, not me. I built my confidence from my teammates. The guys that push you every day, that's been playing 6, 7 years in the NFL now. That I knew I could play with. That you ask them still to this day, and they'll tell you. So that's where I blew my confidence from, and that's why I am how I am.
And I did want to ask you, maybe not a lot of people know this, but your college teammate was Nick Foles at
Yeah.
the University of Arizona.
Yeah.
And Nick Foles goes on, does what he does. Did you ever think that you'd play with a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Oh man, I always knew we were all special, man. And I used to always say in the locker room, and I know a lot of guys, a lot of my sayings, man. I have these sayings that I usually say that'll stick with me, that just help me put my mind in a certain perspective. Like now, like people have been saying over the last couple of years, but nobody started saying locked in. I started saying locked in, and now everybody says locked in. And I love it, because people will just get little sayings and run with it. Like in college, it was 51-50, head first. Like I say everything, and it helps me put my mind in perspective. And you can even ask Nick Foles. I have him on. I have a little tape from our last game. All of us, everybody walking in the stadium, and Nick Foles, he's walking up 51-50. Everybody's saying these little sayings, and it's Nick, man. Nick was such a gifted guy, and I felt like I always knew he was going to be a better NFL quarterback than college quarterback. And I don't say that in a bad way. I say that because he was so talented, but you could just tell this guy, like, shit, you're not supposed to be at the college. Just get out of here. He's dropping back like he's a John Elway or, you know what I mean? It's like, bro, this is college. I'm yelling at him, Nick, run. Go get these yards, please. Just run. This is college. Go get us a first down. He's sitting back there, composed, ready to throw, waiting all the pressure. He's just sitting back there just looking for a guy to throw to. And I'm like, this guy's amazing, but I'm like, he's just be a way better college quarterback than, an NFL quarterback than college quarterback.
And you, so you finished your college career at the University of Arizona. What happens next?
Man, I signed. I went to a Casino del Sol All-Star game, which was a pretty good bowl game. A lot of guys got picked, and I signed with a management. I signed with an agency at that time, and they were telling me a lot of good things, man. It was like because a lot of little things started happening, man. I was getting ready for the draft. I already, after the whole season, everything that transpired, it wasn't the best, but I knew I still was going to get an opportunity or a shot. So I put a head start on my training. I started training for the pro day, and everything. I'm training as hard as I can. I was plenty strong, man. I had about 340 on the bar. I was doing it for 3 reps. At the time, I was training with a bodybuilder guy because I wanted to try to get my bench up. So I did it. I had 3 reps on 340 on the bench press. I hit that first rep, came down the second rep, hit it, popped my pec. Went out like a rubber band. Pec went out, doing a little too much weight, trying to jump ahead of the game because I wanted to be ready for the draft, man. I just wanted to show these guys that I was a different type of guy. And even through that, I played in the All-Star game, had an incredible All-Star game, man. And I've been blessed, man, because my defensive coordinator in the All-Star game was Dick Tomey. Rest in peace, Dick Tomey, man. He coached Arizona back in the Desert Swarm days with the Teddy Bruschi days, and Dick Tomey was a great man. He mentored me, man, for those couple days. He could just tell how much I just determined I was, and just to get to NFL, and just he would just tell me little things, like he would just give me little advice, and I will never forget that, forget all the things he gave me. He's passed away now, but I got his number still in my phone, same number, but you call it, and he really told me a lot of things, He told me you're going to be a great NFL player, a lot, He told me you love rushing, I could tell, he'll come up behind me. I remember we were walking off pass rush, and he was like, man, Buffalo's loving you, they're loving your rushing. And little things like that, man. And it really sinked in, and, you think you're going to have a good career, you're going to have a good NFL career, and pro day comes. And I'm ready, man. I know I'm gonna show these guys what I can do. My football drills. Nobody can do drills like me on the field. So I'm like, I'm still gonna get a shot. All of a sudden, it starts snowing, hailing, sleeting, whatever bad weather you can think of in the world. We had it at that very moment. We ran our 40s inside. They went outside and only saw Nick throw the ball. That was it. Our pro day was over. I was on the front page of the Arizona News, walking off the field like this with my head down, and my brother right behind me holding my bag. You know, my brother, the one I'm going to be in Abu Dhabi with, holding my bag, man. Came to pro day with me, and I'll never forget it, man. It's days like that really make me see how life, man. You don't know where life is gonna take you, but it does. So I didn't get drafted. I didn't even get picked up, man. I'm bouncing around. I'm calling whoever I can call. I'm working. I'm trying to get somewhere. And then one of my guys tell me about, man, go over there overseas, man. You know, they do a lot of, they play football over there, like an NFL Europe. You know, they used to play good football over there. So, you know, he put a call in, and a couple teams were interested in me, and I ended up signing with a team in Sweden called the Uppsala 86ers. And you know, and I didn't know where life was taking me, but I just knew I was going, you know. So that's all. I used to walk around in Sweden and ride my bike and look up in the sky and say, "Where are you taking me?" You know. I was like, "Why am I here?" You know. And but I loved it, man. I met so many genuine people in Europe, in Sweden, and I met relationships that will last a lifetime. You know, one of my best friends, Ludwig, you know, he's still out there. He owns a couple bars out there, and I met a lot of good people out there in Sweden, man, and I wouldn't pass it out for the world.
So at some point here, you realize MMA is the route. And
Man.
if I'm not mistaken, was Kamaru the biggest influence in that? And how, when does the exact transition occur?
Man, I still remember when I was training for the draft, and it was he was making his debut in 2012 when I was training for the draft, and he made his debut in Nebraska where he went to school, in Kearney. And I flew out there for him, and that's when I first started. At first I was like, holy crap, this dude, you want to get hit in the face? Like, this is what you want to do now? You know? And I went out there, and, you know, I was kind of in the background in the cut, just kind of watching everything. And I was just like, I went out with Michael Johnson and these guys, and that's when I really started seeing it, man. And I started soaking it up, and I fell in love with it, man. I completely fell in love with the sport and the determination and the work ethic, and I just started making mental notes while I was still training for the NFL, while I was still pushing, while I was overseas. I was still doing everything I needed to do, man. And I was making mental reps, you know, mental notes. And then, and when I came back from Sweden, I felt like I got import player of the year in Sweden. I went out there and completely dominated, you know, as you should. You know, they gave me import player of the year. I came back, you know, ready to go because I honed my skills. At that very moment I came back, I was standing up now. In college a lot, I didn't stand up a lot playing defensive end. But when I was in Sweden, they let me stand up, so I got comfortable at rushing the edge as a stand-up, and I felt unstoppable. And I came back to America ready for NFL teams. So I signed with an agent, and still didn't get a knock. I got down to San Diego. I was training with DJ Fluker. He was the right guard at the time. I lived with DJ Fluker. You know, we went about 2 years out there, and training with him, going to the facility with him. You know, seeing all the coaches, all the trainers, and we started building that camaraderie. And I thought I was gonna get a shot, and I still did it. And then at that very moment, the girlfriend that I had at the time, she then got pregnant. I was living in San Diego, and she was in Texas. And that changed the whole game because I ended up, you know, transferring and coming back to Texas because she was pregnant. So I ended up coming back to Texas because I had to take care of the fam. So I got a job. I was working at LA Fitness at the time. I was an assistant general manager, and I loved it, you know. And I made money for them. They were going to give me my own LA Fitness because I sold $50,000 for them, personal training. And all these people that would come up and talk to me, and they'll 2 words, and I'll put them through a 15-minute workout, and they'll sign right up. $6,000, you know, and they're like, "How is he doing this?" And I realized that whatever I do, I'm always gonna do it good. Wherever I go, I guess that's a gift you get from God. Whatever you do it the best you can. And I quit. And all these guys were telling me like, "Man, you're so healthy, you're so strong. You can do this when you're 50 years old, man. You know, I can do this when I'm 80, 60, 70 years old. But when I still have my legs, I can jump, run, kick. it just made sense to me to do it. And I was training with a guy at the time called Coach Lawrence at the Dungeon, Power Cardio in Arlington, Texas. Crazy dude, man. I still talk to him here and there to this day, but he was a crazy guy because he put me on a path because we would go train, and I was training on my lunch breaks. And I look over to him during my lunch break, and I said, man, Coach, and this is my exact words. I said, Coach, man, after we got done training, I said, fuck this shit, man. Let's fight. He said, all right, fuck it, let's go. And after that, man, I took 5 months. 5 months, I just got my weight down. I was around 280. I took 5 months, I got my weight down to like 255. Then I started training with Stephen Wright. And he trained, Johnny Hendricks and all these guys. He still trains down there at in Fort Worth at Metroflex. He has his gym out there, and awesome kickboxing coach, man. One of the best to do it, And I started training with him, soaking up all his knowledge. And then I ended up going to Arizona because I wanted to go back to school because I still knew my strength coaches at the University of Arizona. So I went back there, and I started working with my strength coaches a little bit. And then I started training with Chris Carriasso. He fought Demetrius Johnson for the title. He owns his little gym in Tucson. So I started training with him, man, and training with the 125ers, 135ers. That's where I started my career. I started training with the little guys because I wanted to be everything like a little guy because I never felt like I was 260. I always felt like I'm quicker than guys that are 140, 120. So it's like I always wanted to train with these guys. So I kind of like jumped into their lifestyle. Wake up at 6 in the morning, roll over, just throw on something and go run the creek. And then we'll have this pipe that we'll carry. It's like a big, heavy, like 40-pound pipe that we'll carry. And we'll be running, right? And we'll say switch. And you'll give the pipe to somebody else. Casey Kenny, he's in the, I lived with Casey when I was out there. He's in the UFC now. But we would run with this pipe. And the people's crazy. There's no way to hold it. There's no proper form. There's nothing. It's just run with this heavy-ass pipe until it's time for you to switch. So I'm running, and then he'll say switch, and I'll switch to a heavier pipe. And it's just, and it just strengthens all your little muscles in your body. And I built myself up, man, and I just jumped right in. No amateur fights, nothing.
What point so you're starting training, you're doing kickboxing.
I'm doing everything.
You're doing everything.
Everything.
So the eyes is MMA. It's not, let me be a boxer.
No,
let me do this.
100%.
It's MMA.
100%. And I called a couple people, man. Like, it's funny. I called Rashad first, Rashad Evans. Because when I went out to, in 2015, I went out to train with my brother in Florida, and I kind of built my relationship. I started meeting everybody, and, you click with people. Energy is everything. That's why I like Tyrone say, lions like lions walk with lions, In 2 seconds, a lion recognizes another lion. And Tyrone is my big brother, man, Tyrone Spong. He's like, man, come here, man. He's like, I don't know, man. You're Usman's little brother, man, but you big as shit, man. I like you. We're going to kick it. Ever since then, man, we're thick as thin, man. And Rashad too, man. I had a real personal conversations with Rashad. I can call Rashad right now, and he'll answer. He's gave me so much advice, and I asked him a lot of advice, man. Certain things I asked my brother that I know he helped my brother with, and that's why I would ask Rashad because he's our OG. He's our big brother. And same with Tyrone. So I soak up all their knowledge. And first person I called was Rashad. And I said, Rashad, man, I think I'm going to start fighting. He says, man, I thought you were going to say that, man. He said, I could tell you love this, and I thought you were going to say that. And he was like, listen, Mo, if you put the effort in like you do with football into this, man, you're going to be a world champ. He said, if you put the effort in that you did with football, as I watch you you train every day. You can ask anybody in my life. I've been training, man, for 20 plus years. And they said, if you put the effort into this that you put into football, you will be the heavyweight champion. And I said, all right, I got it, but I got it, big brother. Thank you. And the same with Tyrone. Tyrone said, man, this sport is hard, man. You get hit in the face, and you think about your life, and you think about what are you doing, man. But the real ones understand and soak it in. And then my brother said the same thing. My brother was more on the cautious side. He was like, man, this is deadly, man. You don't want to do this. You get hurt, man. And I was like, that's what I want to do, man. That's what I want to do. He said, okay, we'll see. And I could tell my brother, man, he knew I wanted to do it, but, I was always just this football player to them until my fourth fight. And to my brother, I can tell. It's not that I lost the fight. It wasn't the loss. It was the fact that you became a fighter, man. You can go in there and grab people and do this and that and slam them and be just so much stronger than everybody else. But when you get in a fight where you actually have to become a fighter, it's like when you're in a cage with somebody and you don't know what to do. And this guy's throwing blows at you and he's hitting you and you're trying to throw it back at him. Now you're bleeding. Blood is dripping down my face and there's no quit. The guy hits me and I drop. And he didn't knock me out, but I drop and I'm looking at him. He's coming in for the kill. And I get up and put him back on the cage and I'm still throwing until the very last second of the third round. And after the fight, my brother was like, man, I'm proud of you, man. You became a fighter today. And I really soaked that in and I realized that this is the day I became a fighter, man.
And was that the loss to Don
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. What did that loss teach you?
Man,
I mean, you sort of got into it, but
it taught me a lot,
what
man.
What learnings have you implemented since then?
Man, it taught me a lot because it's I knew I wasn't supposed to lose no fight in my career, man, in MMA. I knew it in my mind. So that loss, it really taught me a lot because I was going through a lot, man. I tell people to this day too, man. I was going through stuff with with custody, getting custody of my son, and a lot of these little things, man, that you should never bring into the cage with you, man. And I brought it into the cage with me in rage, in not concentration, and that's the number one thing. When you come in there, I came in with rage and not concentration. You want to concentrate on what you want to do, and I brain farted. I couldn't throw a right hand. I couldn't throw no punches. I was just in there, just basically taking punches and just walking forward, grabbing them, walking forward, and just really put me in a place where it's just like, wow, like, why did I do this to myself? Like, why did I bring all this rage into the cage instead of concentrating, And it really taught me that this is really what I want to do, to go to another level, that I got to leave that rage somewhere else, I got to always concentrate when I'm in the cage and don't take anything into the cage. Anything I take into the cage is my learning and my focus and my concentration. And it taught me that I could go 3 rounds, 3 5-minute rounds. I went 15-minute rounds in a fight and I'm still walking around. Like, okay, this guy's, he can fight, So, and I knew I was never going to lose again. If it took all this for this guy and this guy didn't beat me, and he didn't beat me, he didn't beat my spirit. If anything, I knew I could fight because he was very, at that time, this guy's been fighting for a long time, and you could tell he was smart. He's sticking and moving. He was running, sticking and moving. He did a very great strategy. Plus his weight. I knew this guy because I watched every fight this guy fought in. He was like 266, 265. I guess if he watched film on me, he knew that I was going to come in there to fight. So this guy came in around 245 at 6'8". So you knew what he was coming in to do. He was going to stick, move, run around, and out-punch me, out-point me. And that's one thing you learn in the fight. It's not all about a KO. It's not about a TKO. It's not about a submission. Guys will come in there, out-punch you, and win all day. And that's when my brother, that's what we learned, man. And win. You don't care about what these critics say, what all these people say. People say, oh, you just lay on people. You just do this, you just do that. I win. The objective is to win. Every time we get in the cage, win. And that's what I learned. In any way possible. However I can win, I'm going to win.
And how, at this stage in your career, how would you describe yourself as a fighter? Like, what are your strongest disciplines, and what do you need to improve on?
At that point, man, I need to improve on my boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, everything. But at the same time, I knew a couple jiu-jitsu moves they taught me. I just a brawler, and I played football. So in my mind, nobody's gonna stop me from taking them down. And if I take them down, I'm very heavy, and I can just ground and pound a guy out and get out of there. So in my mind, that's how nobody's gonna stop me from taking them down. Nobody's gonna stop me. So I go in there just bulldozing them, straight forward, straight ahead. Putting them against the cage, pressuring them. But I didn't know anything. I was still very green, and it showed. And my game is adapted so much now, and I'm very, very excited, man. Every time I get in there now, I'm excited because these guys don't even know what's coming anymore.
And what fighters do you enjoy watching, or have you studied along in this process?
Man, I've studied, of course, my big bro Rashad Evans. I've studied Tyrone because these guys weren't the biggest guys, man. And that's the thing that I like to really soak in. Like even Kane, like Velasquez, like these are not the biggest guys, but these guys come with a chip, and they come with a motor, and they come with a certain energy. Like Tyrone, that right hand he has, lightning. If he hits you with a right hand, go to sleep. If he hits you with one kick, he's gonna break something on you. So I really soaked up a lot of these guys, and even Rashad, man. One thing about Rashad is like, man, he's so Rashad is such an emotionally tuned guy that it's like he's so emotional. But when you get in there, man, he uses the emotions for the right thing. You know, like his fight against Chuck Liddell, I never forget. You know, Chuck's crazy. Chuck is coming at him like an animal. Rashad is just backing up against the cage because Chuck is rushing him, just rushing him, and he just throws that right at him. Wow, overhand right. He throws the overhand right. Boom, catches him, sleep. Ice cold. I was like, oh my God. And that's when you know, man, those emotions, everything just tuned in. And like my last fight, you know, this guy is coming at me, he's pressuring me, but in my mind, I was just like, I'm gonna knock this guy out with one punch. I said this the whole time in my mind in the fight. One punch, I'm gonna knock this guy out. One punch, I'm gonna knock this guy out. And I'm just being nice and gentle. I'm just coming at him. I'm just reacting. And this guy just does it. He keeps doing his head. He keep leaning his head. He's leaning his head. I don't know what it was. I guess it was a football, and that's why I explained it to the people that asked me. Like in football, I was really good at jumping the ball. Like jumping the snap, like getting the get off. You know, that's where I excelled in that. If I can get off the ball faster than the guy can react, I'm gonna get a sack every time. You know, so I just reacted. As soon as the guy just did his head, I just knew I could hit him before he reacts. So I just hit him, boom, and he just dropped, and I couldn't believe it. But I knew, play to the whistle blow. So as soon as he dropped, I just boom, until the ref stopped it. So that was the whistle blowing for me in football. The ref coming in and stopping me from almost killing this guy, And I realized that, man, all my training, because all my power, all my training, everything is connecting now into MMA that I've been wanting to bring into MMA. And it's a scary thing, and I'm very happy that I trusted the process, like my coaches say, and all my power, everything that I have, that I know that I possess, I'm seeing it transfer now into my hands for MMA.
Right on. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but more or less, you've became I guess, sort of a sparring partner of Francis Ngannou?
Oh, man, not necessarily sparring partner, but he called me. He's texted me a couple times, actually, to come out to Vegas to spar with him. But Francis' schedule is so sporadic. He really just does what he feels. But I'll never forget, it was my second fight. I was 2-0, and my brother was fighting in, was it Brazil? It was Brazil. No, it was Chile or Brazil. He was fighting. And, this is honest truth. Me and Michael Johnson, Michael's like my road dog. Michael's a crazy animal, man. We've lived life. And we went out, had fun the night before. And then the day of the fight, it's almost like my brother trains heavy. That's just how we just know how to train. We have to train. We have to blow our lungs out. So we're there. I'm rolling off the bed. They're already down there in training. So I'm rolling off the bed. And I'm like, so I'm mosey on in there. Will Harris has his camera out. Everybody's kind of looking around. I'm like, what's going on here? They were like, what's going on? It was like, hey, man, Francis been looking for you, man. He wants to grapple with you. I said, looking for me? I said, oh, okay. So he's like, yeah, let's just do a little grappling. So, I just thought we was just going to do a little warm-up grappling. And Will says he still has all the footage. And he'll put it out. He put a little bit out back then, but Will says he's how Will's he's a guru. He's waiting for everybody's career, get to a certain level, then he'll put it out. And I kid you not, man. That day was I'm gonna show something, or he's gonna show. I don't even know what happened, but we just started. We started just doing a little clinch work. Then it just went from okay. We were just we just started just doing a little clinch work. We were just going a little bit, and then you just felt the shift change, and it started getting harder. It started getting hard, and it's like, okay, now it's turning into let's see what each other got, and we were just grappling each other, trying to go get takedowns, and we were going. We lost, we didn't even know who else was there at that time. We started just going, and then we started doing it from the ground. So he was doing jiu-jitsu. So we was like, okay, Francis start on top, and then I try to escape, and then he start on top, and he start on top, and I try to escape, and vice versa. And then we were just going, man. And these guys, Luke Rockhold, all these guys were in there. My brother, everybody, they couldn't even focus anymore. I could feel everybody watching us. And we went for like 35 minutes straight, just going. Just muscle. It turned from skill to muscle. So it's like, okay, we want to see who has more muscle now. So it went from jiu-jitsu skill, it went from anything to just straight muscle the whole time. And just to see who's the macho man, who's going to just muscle the other guy up. And And then, you know, and that I earned my respect, I can say, at that very moment, because after 2 fights, I earned my respect for myself. After 2 fights, ever fighting MMA, I felt Francis Ngannou, and I said, okay, I can feel a guy like this. So all these other guys are in trouble. When you see how he goes in and does these guys, and I'm like, I felt this guy, you know, and nothing against him because he's a monster, but I know where I'm at. And I know I'm a different type of animal when it comes to, because Francis is gonna knock you out. I wanna do everything to you, you know, and that's why I think it separates me from the different heavyweights, because I'm not one-dimensional in the aspect of I want to do everything in the fight, and I want to take the fight wherever it goes.
And is he obviously, you know, I'm assuming the goal is to get more, you know, more experience under your belt, but is it hard not to already, you know, go look at guys like that and want to fight guys like that right
not
now?
at all. I mean, I look at everybody on the roster. I can, you know, and I can fight a lot of these guys on the roster as well, you know, and I look at all of them, and I see where I am compared to all of them, and at the end of the day, it's just really cage time. I just want to get cage time, man. The more cage time I get, then, you know, I'll be ready for any heavyweight. I don't see no heavyweight competing at that level with me when I have cage time, especially, you know, and I pride myself on the motor, you know. So like Cain Velasquez is the only one that I can see that has that type of motor like I have.
How much confidence did that session, those sessions with Francis?
It put me on a different level, because now I knew I can do this. Because at the end of the day, that's the number one thing. Like, that's why people go spar with different people. That's why people see other talent, because you want to line yourself up with the best heavyweights to see where you pair up to them. And I knew this sport was for me after those little sessions like that, and just everybody and how I move around and how I move on the mat and how I see myself training and selling and getting better. I knew this sport was for me.
And when you see guys like Greg Hardy, who, you know, had a prominent NFL career, transfer into the sport and have success in the sport, does that also kind of tell you that you can do this too?
Of course. I would love to fight Greg Hardy. You know, I've seen what he has. You know, I've seen him, and he's made a lot of good improvements in the sport, and it'll be a real fun fight. And I'm proud of him, man. At the end of the day, you know, people can sit here and bash you all day and say this to you and say that to you and say you did this, say you do that. I'm not perfect. Nobody in America is perfect. If you want to bash somebody and you try to say you're perfect, then it's sad. But nobody in America is perfect, man. And Greg Hardy made mistakes. We all made mistakes. But at the end of the day, do I stop being a good person now? Do I stop caring about my kids? Do I stop caring about my life because you think I'm a bad person when I'm not? You know. So I'm proud of him switching the sport, coming to MMA, and you know, and doing what he's been doing, man. I'd love to get in there. I love it.
That's a fight you like?
Love to 100%, 100%. I put that in my mind a long time ago, and 100%.
That'd kind of be like the NFL football v.
sure.
MMA Super
man,
Bowl
hey, man,
fight.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I put that in my mind a long time ago. I would love that fight.
And switching to your brother for a minute as well. I know. Well, actually, first, tell me about just this Fight Island situation. What do you know about Fight Island? What are you gonna have to go through here in a couple of days, just in terms of?
Man, I hope I make it. Man, this is, oh my gosh, this is a different. The UFC, you know, they're implementing more testing. So I'm gonna get tested in Vegas. Then I'm gonna quarantine for a day, fly to Abu Dhabi, get tested again right out of the airport, quarantine me in my own hotel room, and then come back in after 12 hours, test me again. And they're gonna come back after 12 hours, test me again, before they approve me to go to the island. But from what we know, we're gonna walk on the beach, walk into the cage, and my brother's gonna fight on the beach.
So if I follow you correctly, you have to quarantine in here first in the States, so
yes.
Vegas, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And then you fly to Abu Dhabi?
Quarantine
in Abu Dhabi?
Twice.
So what does that mean?
Meaning they're going to come test you the first time, keep you in the room, get the results, come back again with some more doctors, like test you again.
24 or 48 hours later?
Yes. Test you again, and then get the results, and then release you into the island.
Then you can go to the island.
Yes.
And the island is somewhere off of Abu Dhabi.
Yes, island. It's a secluded island.
Wow.
I guess, nobody's going to be there, so
wow.
But us.
is how obviously this is unprecedented and unique, but how just kind of is it exciting? Is what are the
Oh
emotions?
yeah, man! Of course it's exciting because it's almost like when you look back at Muhammad Ali when he fought George Foreman, in Africa, and and he's running into the cage, and everybody's just grabbing him, and just the energy you get from the crowd. I feel like in this aspect of it, the energy you're gonna get from the water, the beach, you can look at the water and see the water while you're getting ready to fight a guy. The energy, I feel like at that very moment when this is unprecedented, nobody's ever done this before. And to go out there and compete and put on a show, it's very exciting, and I'm excited for my brother, man. At the end of the day, everybody wants it, man. And that's no disrespect to anybody. Everybody wants to be the champ, man. Everybody does. And it's really sad, and it really shows you where the sport is when all these other guys didn't want to fight. At the end of the day, of course, everybody wants money, man. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want money? But when it gets to a certain point in this career and what we do, and it's like, okay, this is the belt. This is what you want. Everybody wants money, but this is the ultimate goal, is the belt in the UFC. The ultimate goal is the welterweight belt for the welterweights. For me, it's the heavyweight championship belt for the heavyweights. That's the ultimate goal. You're going to make money along the way. You're going to do what you need to do. The ultimate goal is the strap, because you're going to retire. You're going to make as much money as you need to make, and you're going to retire. But at the end of the day, if you never won a belt, you never won a belt. I just made money. My brother can sit back and say I was the welterweight champion of the world. That's what you can say. So when I sit back and I think about it and I look at that, the ultimate goal was the belt. So my brother has the belt, and everybody wants to come and try to take it.
And the fans want Masvidal, right? They want Masvidal.
Of course.
We just had the conversation about the ruckus in Miami that we were a part of. Is Masvidal? You think he's scared of your brother's wrestling?
Of course he is. I mean, let's just be honest, man. Masvidal is a hell of a fighter, man. But fighters are not stupid. If you watch another fighter on TV and you see how he handles a guy, and then you don't handle the guy the same way, it's not stupid. Masvidal knows what's going to happen. If my brother takes you down, it's a wrap. You're not going to get up from that. Let's just be honest. He's a champion for a reason, guys. Like, I don't think the world understands. My brother, that's why I get it. That's why I am how I am, because it's a family thing. My brother is a champion for a reason. When he grabs you, it feels like a cobra. It feels like it feels like the Hulk just grabs you. He just drank the thing and turned green and just grabbed you because you're not getting out of it. That's how hard his grip is. And that's why I channel myself in, because Masvidal, if he gets you down, you're done. My brother, there's nobody he hasn't kept down if he wanted to keep you down. Think about it. Kobe's this good wrestler. Why you didn't wrestle my brother? You didn't go in for one takedown. Let's go. Let's be honest right now. And he's one of the top wrestlers in the division, if not, the second to my brother. So let's be honest. Woodley, where was that? So let's just be honest right now. And Masvidal knew what was going to happen in that fight, so that's why he did what he did. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to lose, let me get as much money as I can. So now I understand. Who doesn't? But when it comes time to fight, Gilbert was the one that was ready to step up and fight. So for that reason, I'm proud of Gilbert, man, because it takes a lot, and Gilbert has made a lot of big changes in his career to get to this level, and I'm happy for him because he got to the level.
And we talked about it a little bit, but I wanted you to just kind of expand on why it's so important for you to corner your brother.
I wouldn't say it's important because it's just it's an energy thing, man. And energy transfer for me is, and for my brother too, man. It's everything. I don't even have to say anything. Just him knowing my energy's there and I'm there. That's more than enough for. That's all he needs. He just needs my energy there. Once he sees the energy, once he just looks and sees me there, he knows, okay, it's go time. And vice versa. And the only fight I wasn't there, he got, I guess, choked out, by some guy early in his career. And that would never happen because he was mauling the guy. But it was just a freak thing that just happened. But it's just, I feel like that's energy transfer at that very moment, and everybody needs a situation like that to happen in their career too, like vice versa, like my loss, and I feel like, and I wasn't there, so I kind of take that into my mind too, like I wasn't there. Every fight I was there, he's never lost.
And I want to phrase this carefully, but when your brother beat Colby, he was in your corner during one of your toughest times.
Yes.
It's been publicized, but how have you persevered over that situation? I know when you factor in all the crazy shit you went through in terms of your football career, transitioning, LA Fitness to all these things. How have you persevered through all this? Where's this strength come from?
It's from God, nobody else, man. From God. And sometimes I don't know, man. Certain days is better than others, and you wake up and I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I just know I can't go backwards. I can't stay still, because if I stay still and I stay stalemate, other people are getting better. People are making money. People are doing what they need to do to feed their families, and I don't know, man. I just know that everything happens for a reason, and God's put me on this path for a reason, and I wanna touch as many people and show people that you can do whatever you put your mind to, no matter what, man. And don't quit on your life, and just keep going. That's the only thing. I just keep going, man.
Your mental toughness. Do you credit that to God as well?
I credit that to God, man. I credit that to my dad, man. Too, because he built us, man. My dad built us up to be very mentally strong, and a lot of people won't ever understand, man. And it doesn't even matter, but the way my dad the way we grew up, and the way my dad brought us up and raised us, man. And my mom as well, because she had to be mentally strong for everything we went through, for my dad getting locked up and everything. And we're just a mentally strong family, man. Where we're from, how we are, we're just a mentally strong family, and I feel and that nobody can break that.
And I did want to touch on that as well, because the first time I heard of the story was when your brother went on Joe Rogan, kind of detailing the situation with your dad. I understand he's now out of prison.
Yes.
I've never heard you speak on it, so I'd love to hear exactly, if you could explain just what exactly happened, because some of the details were vague to me in the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, it's real. It's just, long story short, man. My dad owned a couple companies, and he put people in charge that didn't run it the right way. And at the end of the day, this country we live in, and we're black men, and this country we live in, when they see a black man making money, and see a black man making money at a fast rate, and now they go into looking at your finances, looking at everything, and then seeing that I guess things are not have been done incorrectly. And my dad, as at that very moment, he didn't think he did anything wrong, because he didn't, and he said, I'm not gonna, take anything. I want to go to court. We'll go to court with this. Got a lawyer, because I didn't do anything wrong. Let's fight it. Got a lawyer. I don't want to do any time in prison for what? Miss time with my kids and everything, because I didn't do anything. He goes to court, and when they start bringing out all these things that you've seen all his managers have done and how they've ran the company, everything falls back on one person, the owner. It's not gonna fall back on the assistant. It's gonna fall back on the person that owns the company. And it's sad in this country what they do, though, because even through all of that, when they found him guilty of all these charges, whatever they charged him, and he didn't kill anybody, he didn't do anything, he didn't go do anything crazy, and they give somebody 15 years in prison. And it just shows me, in this country, man, this is done incorrectly, and people are fighting for justice now, and I pray everything unfolds how it should in this country, and for the best, because this country is made up of immigrants. It's made up of people from different parts of the world that come to make it a better place for everybody to be able to live in. So when we start just trying to isolate people and do all this and that, it really starts to show other countries that America is not where we should be. This is not where we should come. This is not the land of the free, the home of the brave. So I pray we get the justice that we need in this country, and we evolve.
And how much time did he actually end up serving of the 15?
I think about 11.
11. And he just came home
January.
January?
Yeah. Basically right now.
What's it like to have your dad back?
Man, I can't even tell you, man. It's the best feeling ever. Just the energy, man. It's the best feeling, man. It's just to know we kept him. We're the main reason he kept going, man. He kept staying strong. So we fight for him, man. I fight for my son and my dad every time I step in that cage.
Was he keeping track of the
Everything.
success?
Oh
Like, he
man,
knew about your college football.
everything. Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. Pictures. He has all our
Yeah.
pictures. He has everything. And my brother, that's what kept him going. Watching us on paper, watching us on TV with all his friends in there, and just growing in the sport, man. Yeah, he kept us. We kept him going, man, and he kept us going.
Amazing, amazing. What has MMA taught you about life, and what has football taught you about life?
MMA, man, football has taught me a lot about life, man, because just the hard work you put in, the grind every day, since in high school. And that's what I'm saying. I play football in Texas. If y'all don't know, it's not 2-a-days, it's 3-a-days out here. Coach Kenny Perry was my head coach, and he still calls me to this day. He came to my brother's fight when he fought RDA at the Palms. Coach Perry came out there and with his son, and I love you, Coach Perry. But it taught me a lot, man. Life is a journey, man, and it's a marathon, and football is too, man. Where you start is not where you're gonna end up. And even with MMA, you come in there and the guy punches you in the face and his boxing is better. Okay, what about his wrestling? Oh, his wrestling is better. Shit. Okay, what about his Muay Thai? So it's taught me a lot, man, about never giving up on life, never giving up on a fight. You see a lot of these guys, you lose the whole fight, last 3 seconds, hit a guy, boom, sleep. Don't give up on your fight, don't give up on life, don't give up on your careers, don't give up on your dreams. It's just taught me never to give up, man. And just keep pushing and pushing and fighting and don't stop.
Explain to me the decision of PFL over UFC and Bellator, and when do you want to go to the UFC?
Man, the decision to go to the PFL, it was a no-brainer. At the end of the day, man, this is a sport, this is a business. This is a business, it's a sport, but this is a business. And anybody will lie to you, they tell you they don't want to make money. You don't want to go out there and get hit in the face and not make any money, man. That's why I wasn't gonna do no amateur fights. I wasn't gonna do none of that. Because in my mind I'm a pro, and as a pro, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna be a prize fighter. I'm like Tyrone said, we're prize fighters, man. Nobody's gonna get to fill these unless they're gonna pay me. So if I'm gonna get in there, I want to make money and I want to win and I want to do what I need to do. And the decision was a no-brainer. The PFL. This had the best contract, man. Simple as that. The UFC is a big, you gotta have something, you gotta bring something to the table before the UFC really considers you. I had a great record, my brother. Those are all really good things. But still, that doesn't amount in dollar signs in my pocket, So the PFL came with the best offer, man, and they had the best platform at this very moment for me to still grow my career. I'm fighting the best guys in the world, but for me to still excel and grow my career to the level that I want, it just made sense, and get paid to do it as well. And then win that belt, win that PFL belt, and have a belt around my waist, and then, and then do what I have to do, and then to come back and then go to the UFC or wherever else organization I need to prove the point.
And for the people that don't know the intimate details of the PFL, could you explain kind of just the tournament process?
Yeah, it's a season.
Yeah.
It's not a tournament; it's a season. So you have two regular season fights, and in that span, you get points, and and your points add up to see if you get into the playoffs. You get into the playoffs, you have two playoff fights, which people don't understand. The platform is 2 fights in one night. You win those 2 fights, you get to the main event, the championship fight in Madison Square Garden, which is the finale, and that's the $1 million. So, you don't just fight and then you get paid each fight, but then the finale, you get a nice $1 million check. Yeah, so that's a no-brainer for me. 5 fights, $1 million. I wouldn't, people go through their whole UFC and I'll make that. So it was a no-brainer for me to jump on that and go that route. And then first, why not go dominant over there? My name is already over here. Our last name is already over here in the UFC doing what it needs to do. Let me go over here and go grab that belt, and then we could just, then we could talk later about the UFC.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I do want to ask you though, is the ultimate goal, when you're 60 years old, you're on your porch or your couch and you want to look back on your life, is the ultimate goal for your brother to have the belt and you have the heavyweight belt at the same time?
Yes.
That's
No
the
questions
dream.
asked. That's a dream. we both have that belt. That's the dream. That's the ultimate goal, and it's gonna happen. You're speaking into existence right now.
Mo Usman. Appreciate the time.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.